Hello, everyone. Greetings. Kevin Hines, I
Howdy.
got you. There you are. Perfect. Happy Wednesday, guys. Um, we had to miss last week. Sorry about that, but I think I got Skibbenhams in full power today. I think
Full power,
full power.
maximum power.
Since you have been playing Fallout Shelter all day instead of working, thank you for that.
I didn't play it all day.
That
I took
three
brief
quarters of the day.
breaks.
You
So
plan you planned your game playing through your breaks, huh?
yeah,
Bullshit.
and I did like play it all lunch,
You government workers.
and I'm
Goodness.
gonna play all day after we're done with this.
Okay. What are you doing?
I'm just expressing the joy that I feel at this moment in time.
Oh, okay. Gonna be one of those days.
It's one of those days.
All right. Well, we can go ahead and get one of those days on the road here. Title showing, but so format's gonna be a little different this time. I think there wasn't really any rage this week, so we're just gonna go down some topics, talk about some things, so on and so forth. Um, First off, I don't have a. Just to lead it off with the best topic, I don't have a title card for this, but Fallout 4, big game coming out for Skibbenheims and myself.
Yep.
People are rabid for information about this game. I don't know why people like to spoil. I understand teasers and trailers and wanting to see gameplay footage. I get that. But I love when these companies release like the 30-minute long gameplay footage of like the first 30 minutes of the game or whatever. And
Yeah.
people want to watch that. Like you're going to play through that probably 4 or 5 times as you create characters. So why watch someone else play through it? One of these gameplay trailers got released on YouTube. Or sorry,
I
leaked
think.
footage is what it
Yeah, I
was.
think it was the one that maybe something about it was supposed to be exclusive to Gamescom, like
Well, it's
a
story
private
related, and they're
showing at
trying to keep the story
Gamescom or
related
whatever.
stuff.
Yeah, and it has
Yeah.
like a little bit of what I assume is story in it. Yeah.
Well, it got leaked to YouTube. Um, YouTube has very, very strict um, DMCA, which is the video rights claims. So it got pulled immediately. Someone did their homework here because then the footage ended up on Pornhub, of all places. And because Pornhub has much looser DMCA, they petitioned to have it removed, and Pornhub was able to say no. And so the last I had seen, it was still up.
Yep.
Um, what do you think about that? How do you feel about this?
Part of me finds it absolutely
Well,
hysterical.
of course.
Part of me finds it absolutely hysterical. I sometimes want to ask the question, like, if this was something you showed at a big like convention, and that's over with now, why not want to release it to the public? It obviously was something you put together to make the game look good. Um,
Well, I mean, there's reasons. Look at Bungie and Destiny. That's a great one. Um, if there's footage in there, because we all know most of the stuff that's done for these cons, it's pre-rendered. It's
yeah,
usually not, unless it's really late in the development cycle, which actually Fallout should be. I don't know if it was someone actually playing the game or if it was pre-done, but a lot of that they don't
yeah,
want people seeing because it's going to change by the time the game comes out.
yeah,
So there's that. Um, Honestly, it's intellectual material that's covered under certain protection. That's
yeah.
my
I mean, they
thing
have the
about it.
right to do what they want. They have the right to say they don't want that stuff out. Now, I don't dispute that at all. I would just question kind of, why they wouldn't want something that could be potentially great promotion for their game to be out. But I'm not in marketing. I don't understand any of that stuff. So,
Well, it'll be interesting to see how this carries forward because I mean they've successfully gotten away with leaking footage from a game by backdooring. Oh God, it's a terrible use. By circumventing the protections in place on where you would mostly see these videos, which would be YouTube.
yeah,
Who's to stop someone from launching their own video redistribution site in a foreign country that has very loose laws like this and using it as a stockpile place, much as the old IRC channels were way back in the day, of, leaked content? The problem with that, I think, is what's going to happen is you're going to start seeing less content put out for us to look at before a game comes
yeah,
out if they start getting really protective of it.
yeah.
So this could be one of those cases where, yeah, it's great now and
Less
people are really
closed
happy.
beta type stuff, less alpha, like taking people from the outside to alpha test,
Right.
just because it doing everything to lessen the potential for leaks.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Which, I mean, that sucks because first, you're not going to get as good a game because you'll have less testing going on.
mm-hmm.
And then secondly, you don't get some of those first looks like people like to have.
Yep.
I don't know, but yeah, Pornhub. That's a new one. Someone did their homework. Either someone got really lucky or someone did their homework. One of the two. I don't know
Yeah.
which it is, but well done, I guess. Moving on. I guess this could. I'm not going to consider this rage. I'm just going to say, Microsoft has not garnered much love from me with this generation of consoles, or this generation of their OS. That's a whole different thing. An Xbox executive, and I don't know what that means, executive, but Kudo Tsunoda. He can't be working for Xbox America because they don't have names like that. I have not seen anyone on the American team with a name like that. I just really haven't. Recently released a statement saying that the Xbox One has a lot more going on than the PlayStation 4 and other competing platforms. My question to Mr. Tsunoda is what? What do they have? What do they have going on? Where is it? You're losing in the sales market. You're down almost 3-1 in sales.
But they play games. They do more media stuff.
Yeah, that's right. They can stream to your Windows 10 computer.
They're doing like things, man.
One of the things they cited is something we talked about the last show, which was the cross play and the cross buy stuff they're trying to do.
Yeah. Now I read the article, and the article gave me the impression they mean letting Xbox players on their Xboxes play with PC players on PC.
Right, that's the cross play. Yeah.
And in certain games, that's not.
That's what I said. I mean, that's my first reaction.
I mean, you can. Let me see if I can quick.
You know what
Google,
that means?
Try
It
and
means
find it again.
increased aim assist and all kinds of that crap. Floatier controls, things that try to even out the mouse and the gamepad.
Probably, but they tried to do it with before Halo 2 came out, and they tested it with Halo 1, and I can't remember what the program was called, but if I look on Google for a second, I'll probably find some old articles on it. And basically they abandoned it because apparently what happened was like some average Joe whatever guys that like to play shooters on PC that were helping them test this stuff got in and played versus some professionals on controllers and beat them. And they abandoned doing that.
Well,
so it makes me wonder,
what he said was, I love this. For a long time, we've had PC gamers and console gamers who weren't really able to play together.
Yeah.
What games? What games are we talking about here? I've always justified my purchase of a console because the games that came out for console are fundamentally different or were fundamentally different than PC. Single player experiences seem to fit better on the console. Used to. Now the lines are getting blurred because the definition of a console is getting blurred at this point. But
Yeah. You've got Steam Machine. Apparently, with the Xbox One being able to have a PC stream to it and vice versa. And at some point, weren't they talking about having Xbox One be able to run Windows 10? You know?
I don't know. I don't remember hearing that, but I wouldn't discount it. They're going for that one machine per household
Yeah.
mentality, you know.
At that point, if it can run Windows 10, if they do that, obviously it can run Steam. What keeps people from just running it in big picture mode and having a Steam Machine Xbox
uh,
One?
hmm. I didn't think about that. I mean, they can run a version of Windows 10 much like the mobile that has lockdown capabilities, you know, where you can't install third-party apps that haven't been put through the Windows Store. I would
Yeah.
assume that's what they're going to do with it.
Yeah.
He goes on to say, that's why crossplay is such a powerful idea. You should be able to play what you love and play together regardless of what device you're playing on. It's about connecting people. I just I don't understand what games we're talking about here. We're talking about Madden on a PC, playing with the Madden on the Xbox, because why? No one's going to play Madden on PC. No one even buys Call of Duty on PC in comparison to the consoles anymore. I bought, what was the one before Advanced Warfare?
Ghosts.
Ghosts. I bought Ghosts on PC. There was like 10,000 people playing at any given time, which is extremely low for a Call of Duty.
Yeah.
It's a great idea. Again, Microsoft, great ideas. They're not that useful. They're just really not that useful. Cross buy. Why would I want to play the game on my Xbox now and then my computer later? I just don't get that. The backwards compatibility, I understand, but we've already talked about how limiting that's actually going to be. It's not going to be full, every Xbox game you ever own can play on it.
Yeah.
It's never going to be that way. So, this guy also said that the Xbox has more exclusives than any other station or system at this point. I don't know what numbers they're quoting on that. Half the ones that I saw on the list were only timed exclusives. I don't consider that an exclusive. That's just a money deal. Speaking of what's coming out, Call of Duty actually ends this year is the last year of Xbox's timed exclusivity with them. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I thought and I don't know for sure. I think somebody I used to play Advanced Warfare with told me that Sony had gotten
Wouldn't surprise me. Unfortunately, they just keep getting worse and worse. So I mean,
yeah,
I don't know what Sony really picked up there, but it makes money. I mean, I give them that.
I had fun with Advanced Warfare for a limited period of time. The problem with that one for me was it was so randy because people could cross the map lanes anytime, and it's just yeah, it was so randy.
You like Randy though.
Mm-mm. It made Counter-Strike's randomness look like,
Oh well, no, that's different. Randomness in Counter Strike is just it's not truly randomness, and it's confined to hitboxes and bullets, not people coming from angles that they never should have ever been in.
yeah. I liked the dodging in that the exosuits have added in Advanced Warfare. I don't know what they're doing with 3 because I don't know.
It's the same dodging, just a little bit slower.
I didn't like the high flying shit because that's what caused the randomness.
That's still in it. And now you got wall running, which kind of lets you get to areas.
Now people are glitching so hard. People glitched like crazy in Advanced Warfare.
Probably, yeah. Wouldn't doubt it. All right. Kind of an interesting thing. China I haven't read completely on about the entire video game system ban that China had in place up until last year, but it's gone. It's been lifted. And the first thing to come out of it is something that sounds suspiciously like the Ouya, but it's not spelled the same. I guess it's the. I don't know how you pronounce this. The Ouya.
Oh
Oh
yay!
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I'm calling it.
it's an Android-based console, which means it's the Ouya that looks like a PS4 with an Xbox controller. I mean, it's almost a one-to-one representation in the picture. Um,
I think it's hilarious.
I
Said it's gonna sell for like $70.
yeah. So it's just a big hunk of plastic molded to look like a PS4.
I wonder, like,
I,
$70. I wonder if I could get one sent to me for $70.
well, you're gonna
Check
have
it
to
out.
pay import costs.
Yeah.
I like the console has had negative feedback from Chinese netizens. Really, we have to coin a term for this because this ripoff is very, very blatant. Well, it's a PS4 with nothing inside of it because I'm sure the
Yeah.
circuit board in it's really small if it's all it's running is Android.
Looks like it's. I see. I'm looking at the picture of it. It's like some of it's obscured because it's text I can't read. But look, it's got an A80
Yeah,
processor.
with a G6230, that's some kind of mobile GPU, I would assume. 2 gigs
Yeah,
of RAM.
16 gigs. Probably. That's probably in memory
Yeah, I
or storage. I'm sorry.
you
Uh,
know you have a console ban for a number of years, and the first one that comes out of it has the same name as Ouya and looks like a
it's
PS4 with a controller from an Xbox. Like, welp, good job. You know,
yeah.
E for effort on that one. I wonder if it actually gets pulled. Like, I can't imagine that Sony or Microsoft are going to file any claims because trying to get anything through the Chinese government is an exercise in futility.
Yeah, they don't
Um,
really talk to
and
anybody.
there's a blatant League of Legends ripoff MOBA that basically took resources from League of Legends and it's still up and going. So I just thought that was interesting. Um, kind of piggybacking off of a topic we've had on here before, re-releases of some classic games. Grandia 2, which I am not familiar with the series. I've seen it, but I've never played it.
Yeah, pretty much the same for me.
It is one of the most well-known, Dreamcast RPGs, but the Grandia franchise is huge. It is going to be released on Steam for $15 on August 24th. I'll be picking that up.
Yeah, might be a good way to introduce myself to the series.
Yeah, although I'm interested, I haven't read up on whether 2 continues the story of 1 or if it's, you know, a standalone, as in story goes.
Yeah.
Um, Gung Ho is the publisher. They actually, Grandia 2 was voted for the re release after a poll that they did asking, I think it's a great idea, asking gamers, what do y'all want to see re released? It does include a revamped version of the game with a couple of different added little things. I doubt it's anything major, but um, man, I wish now that Final Fantasy VII's out of the way for Square, I wish Square would put that to a vote and ask what games do you want to see re-released.
Hmm.
12 is confirmed. 12 is confirmed to have an HD re-release coming, which is awesome. Speaking of, interesting story. I bought 12 on Friday. I ordered a like new copy of Final Fantasy 12, which looked like it was going to be a Redbox Greatest Hits edition. I just got it in today, and it is in shiny new cellophane unopened packaging. So it's not like new, it's brand new, and it's the original release of it.
Hell yeah.
I'm not going to open this and hope that the HD re-release comes out first, and then I have an unopened copy of 12. Original copy of 12.
Good
I
deal.
love this game, but
That was a good grab.
well, I didn't try for it. I just
Well, it
Amazon.
just
The beauties of Amazon. So yeah, that comes out on the 24th. See at least one person in chat saying they've played it, so I'll be interested to take a look at that one. That was on my list of ones I wanted to stream. Now, I did not get the metal box. I had that originally and I sold it because I'm an idiot. We had to get a little bit of Destiny on here. Now, Skibbs, you want to walk through this? Because you said it happened once before, so I'm going to let you.
Basically, if you're not familiar with Destiny, there's a vendor in Destiny. His name is Zur. At least that's how I always pronounce it. It's XUR. That's how it's spelled, Zur. And he shows up on the weekend, starts showing up on Friday, leaving on Sunday, and for a rare currency in the game, he sells really good rare shit. And apparently this weekend he's selling the Gjallarhorn. I don't know how you
Gallahorn.
actually pronounce that, so it sounds like you sneeze. Um, it's the Gjallarhorn. It's
Gallahorn.
it's a exotic rocket launcher
It's
that.
like the fjords. It's not fjords. It's the fjords.
Yeah,
It's
well, it's
Gjallarhorn, I
it's
would assume.
Gjallarhorn.
Gjallarhorn.
Yeah, it's Gajala jalapeno horn. It's really good, and if for PvE that is, and it's actually so good that people have formulated ways to basically exploit raid bosses that should be very hard to beat.
Well, from what I've seen, there's actually raid groups that require you to have it for you to get into the raid group.
Yeah, yep, because they're gonna run and they're gonna use one of the strategies where they like two hit a boss, or something to that effect, or knock a boss off a ledge, things like that. Um, it's happened before. It happened when I played. Apparently, this is the second time it happened. So I guess it's a huge deal. I'm not surprised by it. Zur pretty much sells everything that's exotic that doesn't drop in a raid only
Well,
setting
but
at
all
some
right.
point or another. He
This was
sold the best PvP rifle in the game when I played twice.
well, but this was brought up to me by a coworker of mine who's actually been trying to get this weapon for about a year. He said 9 months or so, and he said that now keep in mind that when the Taken King comes out next month, early next month, this is a confirmed weapon that's going to be remade. They've said they're going to nerf it, obviously to fix these exploits that are existing in it.
Yeah.
So I'm split on this. I think it's awesome that they have a vendor that randomly, or probably not randomly. There's no way this is random. They definitely program what he's going to sell in. But
They
to
probably
sell
look at the stats of weapon
right
distribution and things like that.
to sell stuff that you normally can't get without grinding a raid a billion times and having it luckily drop for you is a great idea, and I think that's awesome. Um, Purposefully doing this 2 weeks before you're going to nerf it seems pretty shitty to me. Just, in my opinion,
Like a tease. Here,
you
you've
can look
got
at it one of
2
two
weeks
ways. You can look
to
at it one of two
farm these
ways.
bosses. And actually, you can't really. You can only farm them to an extent because a lot of the items and everything that you get from the raids come from chests. Once you've gone through the raid that week in that
Right.
hardness, those chests will never be there for you again. Um, and I think you don't get it after you. I'm not sure if it's changed or if I'm remembering wrong, but I think for the same thing for the boss drops, after you've been through the bosses once in each hardness that week, you don't have a chance anymore. So you can only farm things up to an extent.
Well, on one hand, it's like, okay, we're going to let people play around with it for 2 weeks before we destroy it into the ground.
Yeah.
Because usually what happens for an OP weapon like this, they're going to make it useless. I mean, that's typically what most
They
companies
don't
would do.
make it balanced. They just
Right.
nerf it into the floor.
So I guess on one hand, they're giving people 2 weeks to play around with it and feel godly. And then they're going to nerf it so hard that no one's ever going to use it again. I don't know. I just fix the weapon. I don't know. There has to be a way to fix. There's no way you can't fix a weapon. So, good job, Destiny. I guess it's not really a rage point this week, but eh. That being said, Destiny is still number 4 or 5 in the Twitch communities as far as number of or growing size of the viewership. They're going to live stream once a week, every week, I think, up until The Taken King comes out. And I think it had over 100,000 viewers on it earlier today. That's insane. Because Destiny is a game that you either absolutely despise and hate, like I do,
Hmm.
or you absolutely love the hell out of it, it seems like.
Yeah. You know, I would say there's only 3 out of 10 people left from the people that I played with when I played it that still play it. But the ones that are still playing it play the shit out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all they play. It's the
Well,
only game.
that's how my coworker is, and he had a group of 3 or 4 that he played with, and he said this last weekend they all kind of got together to play, and he said someone in the group said, "Is anyone else even having any fun with this anymore?" And they pretty much all said no, so they swapped over to Elder Scrolls Online, and they're having a lot of fun with it. When you go from a game like Destiny
No.
to something that's a little more open like that, though, where you're not
Yeah,
grinding
it's
the hell out
gonna
of everything.
change. Yeah, it's gonna change your perspective.
You know what I find interesting though? I never found Diablo 3 or Diablo 2 grinding to be not fun. I always enjoyed it. I don't know why. Something about the game just felt fun and right, and I just enjoyed it. I could not find myself enjoying Destiny's
Do
grind.
you enjoy playing slot machines?
I enjoy playing
I'm
slot
not saying I did
machines.
not enjoy Diablo a ton, but I mean, I think it's kind of the same mechanism of excitement. You're
Yeah,
getting in
but
there, dropping that boss. What's he gonna drop? Grab it. Oh shit. Oh
yeah, but
damn
I
it. What?
never felt like it took 3 years to beat a boss either, and that's what I felt like in Destiny. That every boss just took forever to down.
Well, when you played with me, we were playing above our level.
Well, I know.
There was that aspect.
I've still seen boss fights go on for 20 minutes. That's I'm sorry, that's too long to me. I don't want to
Like the
fight a
raid
boss for 20
bosses,
minutes.
I would say, can be about that long, unless you do something crazy.
It's not for me. I'm also not a high-end raider on any MMO I've ever played. So, it's just not my style of gaming. But, if that's what you like, go for it. I'm not talking down about it. It's just
I
kind
don't
of
know. It's hard
unique.
to like it with so many of the things that they've done and said.
Well, yeah, at this point now, I'm not buying anything Bungie ever does simply out of spite for, Luke Smith. Luke Smith can go fuck himself. Get out.
You should send him a
Yeah, my coworker tweeted at
message on
him.
Twitter.
My coworker did. I forgot to tell you about that. He literally tweeted at him. The guy, Luke Smith, had a post or a tweet saying something about he couldn't get he couldn't get something on his couch to work or something, and he tweeted at him and said maybe you should throw money at it. He has yet to get a reply back, but
No, he
you
won't.
know, I thought that was pretty great. We're not gonna mention names here because I don't want to give any more fame to this person, which is sad because it's a streamer I used to watch. This was early last week, I think. Streamer was ending a 24-hour stream, I believe, and at the very, very end of the stream, like last 5 minutes, got swatted, quote unquote, live on the stream as a joke.
Yeah,
It was fake. It was pretty obviously fake. It
I
wasn't.
never watched
They were
video of it.
laughing. The cops were guys that he has on his stream quite often doing setup stuff. Um, it was a joke.
Yeah.
It's a joke in poor taste, and he was banned by Twitch for a whole 24 hours. Whew, that'll teach him.
I bet if he wasn't as big as he was.
Well, if he was some guy our size, it'd been permabanned. See ya,
Oh
and
yeah.
never coming back. This guy is a top streamer on Twitch. I used to watch him a lot back when I played League of Legends. Um, he's a huge YouTuber as well. I have a feeling this video's probably got 1 billion hits on YouTube already because people, oh, that's so funny. Skibbs, you and I have talked about this whole swatting thing before, just as people
Yeah.
that have been internet connected for a long time. I understand that you should be able to make fun of anything, but I think some common sense has to come into play when you talk about someone's gonna die.
Yeah.
Someone along the way is going to get killed in one of these swatting things, one of the real ones. And jokes like this don't help prevent that from happening. It's just not right. Um, these SWAT teams, the real ones, not the fake ones like this guy had come in, but these SWAT teams are trained to go into a situation where everyone's hostile and put everyone down at all costs. I'm still waiting to hear about a streamer whose dog gets shot, or whose I think it was brought up on a show that I watch, who's when the cops burst through the door, they're hugging their girlfriend or wife or whatever, and the cops think it's a hostile situation and start taking shots. This
Yeah.
will happen if this keeps going on. And I find this an extremely poor taste to joke about in such a lighthearted manner. If he wanted to preface it with a pop-up scene that said this is for complete, even that's too much to me. But if he wanted to preface it, there still may have been people swipping or clicking through the channel that didn't see any of the pregame stuff and thought it was real. And it's just not something you joke about to me.
Yeah. It's too dangerous. Joking about it spreads it even further, and in my opinion, popularizes it even more, makes other people more likely to try to do it.
Well, right. Let's wait for the next person that does a 24-hour stream that does it, and when they get banned, they're going to be saying, "Well, you let this guy off."
Yeah.
Now, unless Twitch changes their terms of service, which I haven't seen an update yet, they need to. They need to add that to their terms of service. Anyone that fakes any type of law enforcement anything, instant ban. There's just no reason for this. I was actually watching a stream live years ago, one of the first ones back when Anonymous was hitting everything really bad, um, and saw it live. And it was scary as hell to watch some guy's house get busted in, thrown on the ground, and kicked a couple times.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Shame on you. You know who you are. That's why we're not gonna mention his name. I don't want anyone. I don't want him getting any extra popularity off of it because I'm sure he's gotten plenty off of YouTube. um, Kind of one of our viewer questions a couple weeks ago was talking about VR. Oculus finally got featured on Time magazine on the
Just
cover.
that picture. That picture.
It's a terrible picture.
It's so dumb. The guy looks ridiculous. It's hilarious.
The reason why I think this is hilarious is that how long has Oculus been in development now? VR's been talked about for at least 2 years now.
Yeah.
And
And
Time
Oculus was the first
magazine
big
finally,
name.
right. Time magazine has finally said, "Oh, hey, this VR thing could be interesting." How far behind the times is the times? Um, and why use a picture so dumb like that? You've seen all the memes that have come out of it, huh? With
Oh
the
yeah,
stuff.
it's great. It's great. That had to happen. It's just what makes it so bad. It's the way he's got his arms out to the
Yeah,
sides like this, and his chest stuck out, and his back arched. Like,
because that makes me want to partake in VR. When you see someone that if that's how you're playing a game, then
and the funniest thing to me is he's literally he's wearing the Oculus Rift goggles, and he's sitting on like a Shetland pony or some shit. Apparently, whatever is supposed to be going on in VR world is he's on a Velociraptor.
right. It's I don't know. It's just
It was
does anyone read Times Magazine anymore? Because I remember growing up, my dad had a subscription to the Times, I haven't seen a Times magazine on anyone, like not even in the dentist or doctor's office have I seen a Times magazine anytime recently. And they must have like three people working for them. They finally dug up VR. Oh God, VR's it's coming.
Yep. Just around the corner, just around the bend.
Something near and dear to me, and actually, again, a topic that we talked about not too long ago when we were talking about new games we wanted to see come out. Um, StarCraft 3 and Warcraft 4 are a possibility. The team that is in charge of Legacy of the Void, which is the last of the StarCraft 2 expansions, has made a comment saying that after Legacy of the Void is fully out and done, a new Warcraft is not out of the question here. I really don't care about StarCraft 3. I loved the first StarCraft. I really did. The second one kind of lost me a little bit. It's not bad. It's a good game, but it's not that old style of RTS. It's very fast and very multiplayer. There's definitely centered multiplayer. And that scares me because I hope that if they do another Warcraft RTS that it would be more single player focused. I know you never really played any of them all that much, but
I played two a lot, and I played the first StarCraft a,
I
a
remember
lot
you
for like
really.
6 months.
I remember you playing StarCraft at all. I know you played Warcraft.
When I don't think when I played StarCraft, me and you were in much contact at the time.
That's true. Before the Ultima Online days.
Yeah, I mean it was like when StarCraft came out, and I played. I mean, I was in a little crappy clan on BattleNet, and
BattleNet, the early days of BattleNet.
I
BattleNet
played a
launched
lot of
with
what was it,
Warcraft 2.
Bloodbath Rush
For
matches.
StarCraft,
Yeah.
I see. I didn't play much StarCraft online. I played Warcraft 3 online a lot.
See, Warcraft 3 is the one I did not play a lot. I came back after it was kind of old and played through the single player campaign. Because
Great, great single player campaign too. Very well scripted. I like what they did with StarCraft 2's single player, but I still preferred just scripted missions instead of choose your own adventure, which is kind of what they went with StarCraft. You got to choose which planets you wanted to go through and what order. It was cool, but it breaks the narrative up. And honestly, if I'm playing a single player game, I want narrative out the ass. I want the best type of story possible.
yeah.
I don't want to choose my own story because I'd rather them dictate this. It's the reason why I love Final Fantasy 13 so much. If you could get past the first half of the game, it tells an amazing narrative. And if you're playing a single player game, isn't that the point?
Yeah.
Especially an RPG. So that could be good. I would love to see Blizzard get back to their old days of game development. That being said, have you looked at Overwatch at all? Quick question.
No.
You should check out Overwatch. It looks good. Back to that arcadey shooter, Team Fortress
Ah.
2 feel. Class
Yeah, I
based.
think you were telling me that it had a Team Fortress 2.
Yeah, it's got a TF2 vibe, but it's very unique looking. It looks fun as hell. I really hope that turns out to be a good one.
Yeah.
Um,
Interesting. Ooh, they got a
Windows.
samurai dude.
Yep. There's a bunch of different
That
guys
might be
actually.
play it.
So it's the guy who played the scout mostly.
No,
Bastard.
my main thing was sniping. Because
He
that was
played
when
a
I was
lot
at
of
the height of
scout.
my Counter Strike play.
I remember you playing a lot of scout because you annoyed the hell out of me.
Well, I liked to play Scout Troll, but if I ever went into a server and really wanted to put up high scores, I sniped. I
Of
was
course.
good at it.
I still remember sniping in Team Fortress 1 where we were on dial up and you could move the or move the sight and the laser would track a good, 2 seconds behind where you're moving, so you had to learn your ping
Yeah.
perfectly. I would hate when I get low ping because I wasn't used to low ping. So I'd want at least like a 150, 180. Um Windows 10, one of the big selling points of Microsoft right now with the Xbox One is the Windows 10 integration. You're not going to get the most out of your Xbox One without Windows 10. Because Windows 10 was built for gamers, according to Microsoft. Um, I'm not going to go into some topics that could be brought up because there's some things that skirt the edges of what needs to be talked about, but definitely a big one that Skibbenham's brought up today was that early versions of DRM like Safe Disk and Secure ROM are incompatible with Windows 10 completely.
Yep.
Not only are they incompatible, Microsoft says they're doing nothing for that. That will be up to the developer. Now, what developer is going to go back and release patches for a game that's 10 years freaking old?
Yeah. It's kind of irritating at face value to me. Like, okay, I like the fact that they don't want to support and deal with having unsecure DRM rootkits and things like that. I get that. I understand. That's not a bad stance to take, but that stuff's on some really good games. You need to
Yeah.
figure out another way to handle it, in my opinion. It may cost more, but you need to figure out another way to handle it. I
Well,
don't, there's
can I
not a
just
whole lot
say,
else to be said.
talking from an IT standpoint, it's what I work in every day is network securities. Um, what they're quoting as the reason why these early DRMs they're not going to support is because let me get the quote here. The DRM is deeply embedded in your system, and that's where Windows 10 says, sorry, we cannot allow that because that would be a possible loophole for computer viruses. Viruses are way ahead of anything Microsoft is even looking at. I have worked on some viruses lately that were fileless. They have 0 files attached to them. It's a script that runs through PowerShell that is unstoppable unless you have your PowerShell on your system set up a certain way, which is not the Microsoft out-of-the-box way. And they don't have a file attached to them, so they cannot be found by an AV, and they can't be found by any type of anti-malware stuff because those all look for signatures on files. There's no way to stop this. So Microsoft in their Windows 10, we're not allowing deep integration into Windows 10. That's all a bunch of BS, in my opinion. It's not going to matter. Viruses have moved on way past anything Microsoft knows about.
Yeah.
Besides, most viruses today, hate to tell Microsoft, I don't know if they know this, I assume they do. Most viruses aren't viruses anymore. They're fake AV and fake sales programs that are just generating ad revenue. That's I've cleaned up. I used to clean up viruses that would damage files. They would damage boot records. They would do all kinds of malicious things. I haven't dealt with the malicious virus in forever. What I get now is the encryption.
Spyware bullshit.
No, well, the encryption stuff, which uses Windows encryption, which is totally legal and part of Windows, to encrypt every file on your computer. And if you want it back, you got to pay them $500 or recover from a backup.
An extortion virus.
It's terrible. I had a firm that had about 500 gigabytes of AutoCAD drawings for architectural stuff, and it seeks out any type of drawing, image, and document, and encrypts it using Windows encryption keys, sends the key to a server somewhere online, and then when you go to open the file, it says, oh, this is encrypted. Well, it's erased the key off your server. So the only person that has that key, and there's no way to crack an encrypted file like this because they're using 256-bit encryption, which take years to unencrypt. The only person that has that is that one server, which you have to pay $500 to get it. That's the viruses we're talking about right now. Not this crap that Windows 10 wants to say, oh, we're blocking this virus that's going to burn a pixel out on your monitor. How to decrypt, CryptoWall, and Decryptor. Man, they are vicious. I've seen just terabytes of data completely destroyed if they didn't have good backups from that one thing. But no, let's blame the DRM. That's where it's at. Good job. Okay, final topic before we get to some viewer questions. The next ABSS dual stream. Not the couch co-ops. Those are going to be kept separate because they require a little bit more effort on our parts as far as coordination goes. But getting back to our Saturday night, playing a game for about 6 hours and spinning some spinners and getting drunk. Skivin Ums and I Secret of Man is still up on the board, but I think I would rather that be a couch stream simply because it's very set up for a couch stream.
Yeah. But
Um,
I just wonder, like, is it there enough going on in 6? Like, because it's only, if I remember correctly, it's only during the battle screens. That's it.
yeah,
That second person gets control.
I don't know. I think it would be interesting to do still. I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with you playing the entire game and I just comment and make fun of you. So I don't think it would be an issue.
Yeah, but I'd like to have an opportunity to be able to sit there and think of horrible things to say about you every once in a while.
Okay, we'll switch off every weekend. I mean, I guess we could dual run 6. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be averse to that either. We're talking about Final Fantasy 6.
I know 6 is one that I've been wanting. I don't know. But see, I've got so many I want to solo stream. That I just want to stream like.
You're never going to get to 6. Look at your backlog the way it is now. Do you think you're really going to get to 6?
I might. I did Xenogears.
You did Xenogears because I told you to start with that one.
I had other options. And it was like, it does seem like a good option. And 6 is one I've thought about since the beginning. I don't know, man. I don't know.
All right, 5.
Can you do it with 5?
I'm just saying we could dual stream 5.
Yeah.
The reason why I'd like to do one of the classic Final Fantasies is I don't think I'll ever have the time to actually work that into a solo stream. And I'd still like to play them on stream. And those are, I mean, 6 is considered one of the best.
Yeah, I think my thing is I'm also kind of like needing a slight break from turn-based activities.
Oh, yeah? For some, it
Yeah.
really got to you, huh?
It's been great, but like I need a little action in my life. That's why I've been playing Hard Reset. I need something a little wild.
I mean, we can do Doom 2 as well. We could co-op the entire Doom 2 campaign, I guess.
Yeah.
How about we do this? I'm going to list this.
We could leave it up to people.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Give us some ideas, guys, if you want. You can email me at that email address or Twitch message or tweet at Keldon at BP Skivenheims. Yeah, this weekend is not going to be one. Skibbs has some stuff he has to do, but possibly
It's
for
me
the
ma's
weekend after.
birthday.
Exactly. All right, viewer questions. If y'all have any questions, start sending them in. I have one that was emailed, so we're going to do that one first. It's actually a 3-part question talking about controllers, which kind of fits into something we talked about last stream. We were talking about keyboard and mouse support for the new systems. First part of the question is, how do you feel about the current gen console's controller selection? I don't know if that encompasses the mouse and keyboard coming out or not, but let's just say it doesn't.
Yeah. I'm gonna assume it doesn't. And I don't know. I almost look at it like there's controllers and then there's the mouse and keyboard. I mean, technically, yeah, you're controlling with it, so it's a controller. But I've always just looked at controllers as being, your typical video game console controller.
Yeah, you can't use gamepad anymore because then you got systems like the Wii that you can't call that a gamepad. That is a remote, so they're all controllers. But
Can I comment on the Xbox One controller? I have absolutely no experience. I've never held one. I was all right, liked the PS3 controller all right. I personally feel like the PS4 controller has been a massive improvement over the PS3 controller. But that's me. Everybody's hands are different, so.
I'm going to disagree there. It's not that I don't like the PS4 controller. I do. But the PS3 controller is a little bit smaller, and for some reason, the PS4 controller makes my hand cramp really, really bad. Um, Especially if it's a game like Advanced Warfare was, where you have to have both of those trigger buttons or both shoulder buttons at all times ready to go. I don't know. I just got really bad hand cramps. I never had that with the PS3.
Yeah.
The back of the PS4 controller is a little bit thicker. But I like the PS4 controller a lot. It's got better grips on it, I'll tell you that. A lot better. Xbox One controller feels a lot like the PS4 controller. It's a little more Xboxy looking, so it's boxier.
Yeah.
But it feels pretty much the same. I actually like the triggers better on it than the PS4 triggers, because it went for actual triggers as opposed to like the trigger buttons, I guess what you'd call it on the PS4.
Yeah. Speaking of current gen controllers, I have pre-ordered a Steam controller, which I'm going to do some kind of review of whenever I get
can't
it.
wait to see what that's like.
That's going to be interesting.
Well, the second part of the question, well, let's just go to the third part. What's the best controller out there going all the way back through all the controllers? The GameCube standard controller has stood the test of time, but there are a lot of DualShock fans, and 360 controller is also quite good. So your favorite controller, are you still going to go with the PS4? You're not into I mean, you weren't a big console person before.
But I spent a little time on the 2. The thing about it is I'm going to be biased to the PlayStation line of controllers completely, because I had Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and then past that, the only thing I've ever spent much time with at all have been PlayStations. And that's just been an evolved controller,
The GameCube controller may have withstood the test of time, but I hate that thing. I'm not gonna lie. I basically have one.
Little purple one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it had
But
the
it
big
looks a
center
lot like
button
this.
on the right with the other buttons around it.
This would be the GameCube style-ish controller. This is the Super Smash Brothers special Wii U controller, but it's set up pretty much the same. N64 best controller. Oh god, that's definitely not it. Talk about a terrible controller. I'd have to say the original 360 controller. Specifically, Mad Catz did one that was a little smaller version of it. Felt perfect to me. I don't usually buy Mad Catz products, but that controller was amazing. Beyond that, I'm going to go Nintendo. The original Nintendo.
Oh, man.
AB Start Select. Let's go. I had nothing wrong with the PS3 controller. The PS2 controller was a good controller, too. PlayStation has solid controllers. They always have.
Yeah.
The Xbox One was huge, but I never really had problems playing with it. A lot of people said, "Oh, it's just so big, I don't feel like I can get to all the buttons." I never really understood that. I mean, it was a controller.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what's
And
the best.
I remember I thought the few times I did mess with one, I thought it felt massive.
Oh yeah, they were
silly
huge
for being that big.
Yeah. Power Glove, best controller. What sort of controller should the Nintendo NX feature? What might it? Oh boy.
I don't know. With knowing Nintendo, who knows what? It might be some weird probes you stick up your nose, and like based on how you move your facial muscles, you can control the game.
That wouldn't surprise me.
But I think, in my opinion, and I think they should go with their main featured controller should be a very traditional controller, in my opinion.
What do you mean by that?
Well, they're doing all the motion, Wii nunchucks and all that stuff. Like, do a normal controller. Like,
here's what I see. They're not going to do a normal controller simply because
Well,
Nintendo's a gimmick company.
yeah,
For as much as we don't understand them, it sells really well. Even though most of the games that have motion controls, people always say, "I wish it had less motion controls." I agree. I kind of think I know what I would. The Wii U gamepad controller with the screen on it. I don't like it. I mean, I understand it. Here's what I'd love to see. You take a Nintendo 3DS with the 3D screen and everything, you make that the controller. 3D screen and all.
That would be something.
Or 3D
They would,
touchscreen
in
would be
my
even
opinion,
better.
they would definitely need to sell versions, and I'm sure they would sell bundles that have them both.
I don't know. I don't think they're going to go with something normal. I do like the button layout on the 3DS. Um, it's good. It's solid. I think that's what you're talking about. It's a solid button layout instead of the just weird controllers that Nintendo usually does.
The gimmicky controllers, something traditional. I mean, even the controller you had that we played Smash Brothers with that night. Uh, Even something like that, something that's more of a you hold it in your hand. It's got sticks and buttons.
Well, Turmoil Opponents had a good point though. If you make the main controller pretty bad, then you can sell peripheral controllers that plug into it to do what you want to do for all your special things.
Oh God.
Makes complete sense. That's actually
Yeah, but you should hate a company that does shit like that.
you should, but you got to give them credit because guess what? It works.
God damn it!
How
And
about the
yeah, look
Intellivision?
at amiibos.
Oh man, I
I
don't know
got
if any
I got an amiibo for you.
people probably don't even know what the Intellivision is in here. I've talked about it a couple times on the show. If you want to look up a weird controller, the Intellivision had one. It had a disc at the bottom and a cell phone number pad at the top, basically. I don't know. I don't see it being normal. It's Nintendo. Nintendo's thing now is niche. So,
It's a damn shame.
okay. The only other question was asked earlier in chat. Let me find it. It's a good question, actually. Steam Early Access. Is it still effective as a means for developers, or has it devolved into a risky pre-order with a 50% chance of a game not being finished? That is a hell of a good question.
Yeah. I had know nothing of the stats of how many do and don't get finished. Um, I have had one that I bought that I thought was pretty cool that didn't get finished. Um, the thing to me is you're buying an early access independent title. I think you buyer beware. I like the idea that Steam supports indie developers and does the early access thing and has that option. I think that's a good thing. I understand the frustrations created when lots of projects fail. I don't know if the stats are really bad. If the stats are really bad and somebody could point that out, it might sway my opinion. But I think it just needs to, and maybe Steam needs to do more to make people aware. Um, Very much buyer beware. Like, these people may go under and or just disappear or whatever any day.
I buy a lot of games on early access actually, because I'm a huge indie game developer supporter. I've never personally been burned by one, and I buy a lot of them. So yeah, the stats may be bad. I would say it's probably people buying games like that one you linked to me that was
Is it out yet? Can we get it yet?
whatever that game was.
It wasn't greenlit yet.
You could definitely, it will be. You know, it will be.
Get it. I
I
don't know if you can
think.
stream that.
God, it looked terrible. I think for me, early access on Steam is the one thing we have going to compete against the big developers at this point. It's the one thing keeping them in check from just DLCing the absolute hell out of us for everything. It's the one thing keeping them from. I mean, there's still games going to get out like Assassin's Creed Unity. That's a just complete buggy, terrible mess. That's still going to happen. But you have other studios, especially the Kickstarted studios too, that are going to early access that are actually real game developers releasing good games, but they don't have the ability to fully fund their game. They're expensive to make. So I agree with you 100%. I mean, I think you just have to be smart with where you spend your money. It's no different than kickstarting, though. If you go kickstart a project that looks sketchy to begin with, uh, what's the one that comes to mind to me immediately? We were talking about a couple weeks ago. The new one Kojima was looking at doing. I can't think of what it is.
Um,
They're talking about all these grand plans, but they have no footage, no concept stuff, no nothing.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Look at Star Citizen. Another perfect example we've talked about on the show.
Yeah.
Over $80 million in kickstarted funds. People are starting to withdraw support because it's been years and there's really not a lot new out there about it. So, I don't know. Look at some games that have been early access that have done really good lately. Ark, perfect example. Ark probably would not be half of where they are right now if not for early access. DayZ, say what you will about it, the game used to be fun before it was a standalone and when it was a mod of Arma 2. That was awesome in early access. So, I'm all for supporting a developer that wants to come out with a game and can sell the game. And I think Steam does a fairly good job of tagging early access games and saying, look, this is an incomplete game. If you buy it, you're supporting a developer to complete the game.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing that Steam has done great, you know, I usually read reviews on sites like Amazon or or buy.com or whatever else, and most of the reviews are completely useless. Steam reviews are pretty darn good. There's a cadre of people out there that actually write really good reviews. They get upvoted to the top of the list, and you see someone that's got 200 hours in the game that actually knows what's in the game.
Yeah.
Again, Skip and Hubs and I both pretty much kiss Steam's ass on most occasions just because I think Steam is probably one of the best platforms. I was the biggest naysayer when it first came out because I was certain that was going to end gaming, that they were going all digital, no media, you know, everything was DRM locked for the most part. It is through Steam. You have to be online to play a lot of the stuff or online connected to at least access it. But as years have gone by, I tell you what, Valve has done that platform so well. I can't imagine life without Steam now as far as gaming goes.
Yeah. You know, if I'm not trying to get a physical copy because I want a wearable fucking Pip Boy, I buy my PC games on Steam.
Yeah.
I've even been buying my console games, the digital copies.
I mean, yeah. Especially the re-releases. I mean,
Yeah.
why not?
You know, I upgraded my hard drive to 1 TB, so on my PS4.
So I hope that answered the question. Early access, yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things. You buy into it knowing that you're not going to get a full game, and anyone that complains, especially with Steam's now, I don't know if the 2-hour refund policy on Steam applies to early access. I would think it does not, but I don't know. It's probably just for released games because the early access stuff they wouldn't be taking money away from the developers afterwards. I wouldn't think.
No.
So, I mean, the only thing that Steam's done, I can't collect my boxes and manuals like I used to. That sucks. But then again, most games now have gone to not having manuals anyway for console releases, so screw people like me that actually liked a nice box with a manual to go in it. So, all right, guys. Well, that is going to wrap it up. Skibbs, do you want to talk about what you have coming up since you technically did beat Persona the other day?
Yeah, that is God. And after I get off, I'm gonna be goofing off, testing my stream, trying to see if this problem persists. Last night I beat the final boss of Persona 4, and just as
Golden.
the ending was starting to get rolling, I don't know if it was on my end, I don't know if it was on Twitch's end, I don't know if it was a hop. I started dropping 80% of my frames and then getting disconnected from the stream servers. And the other thing it was doing, I think this happened to you one time, is when it would disconnect me from the stream server, I was hung. I
Yeah.
couldn't stop the stream.
Yeah.
It just
It kept you logged in. It said you were still
for
broadcasting, but you
like
weren't.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
I rebooted my computer, my modems, all that, ran ping tests, and while I was actually still actively giving a damn about it and still trying to maybe get back on and finish the stream, I was running ping tests and everything was fine. Finally, I gave up, came back, and I don't know. It's stupid. I'm gonna try to test my stuff out. I'm gonna start over at the beginning of the very last boss tomorrow and finish the damn game.
So you are gonna start over and do it again.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it all because that's the closest save I have, and I
Nice.
kicked the boss's ass.
Well,
Um,
considering that it was a painful fight to watch the first time, just because I sympathized with you, because you did get through. Is it a 3-phase boss or 2-phase?
it's a two phase.
You beat the first phase with some luck, with some
Good
very
RNG.
very good luck, and then get to the second phase, and she just kind of said, "Your
Nope.
luck's run out, my friend."
One hit the main character from full health, and when he dies, it's over.
Yeah.
Uh,
So what's in the works afterwards?
after that, I will be starting my persona, my Fallout 3
You'll never get away from
playthrough.
it.
It's gonna be a fists only, Mike Tyson's Fallout run. And I'm not doing any kind of like pre-planned, like I'm gonna do all this stuff in this exact order. I mean, I have a few things early on planned out to kind of give me a boost. But past that, I mean, I'm gonna legitimately try to play the game, not speed run it and cheese it. And I'm gonna I'm gonna try to stick to actually bare knuckles, but I don't know. There may become a point that I actually have to equip a power fist and make somebody explode with my hand. Um,
Is that going to extend to New Vegas?
I don't know for multiple reasons. I don't know how fast I'm going to get through Fallout 3,
Yeah.
so I don't want to put the New Vegas guarantee out there. Um, I would like to do New Vegas.
The New Vegas guarantee. Or yeah.
Yeah,
I'm playing through New Vegas right now in just my free time. I think I've got about 25 hours in.
I've been experimenting with it, like running cheats to like reset my special stats and try different things and this, that, and the other, and um, trying to see the viability of doing the same thing in New Vegas. And it may be viable by employing heavy cheese and lots of reliance on your companions.
I'll tell you what's going to give you more problems than anything else with Fist in New Vegas that I've seen. Poison. Those fucking bark scorpions will kill you from full health with poison alone.
Yeah, I've dealt with them all right. Um,
Yeah, but have you
my
dealt
biggest
with the...
thing is like, dude, like Viper Gang members, and I mean, I'm at a point where I've got my unarms up at 75. I've got max endurance, and the individual members take 6, 7 shots, even at that point. Um, but like the leaders are taking like 30 shots to
Are you...
kill.
That's not using any type of knuckle weapon, just
Yeah,
bare?
yeah. Now we
I think
put
you
on
just
knuckle
might have to do
weapons.
knuckle weapons.
Veronica runs around with her power fist, and she's an NPC
Yeah.
character. Makes people explode.
I've got a couple of different fist weapons on my character right now. Not that I'm using, I just haven't sold them, like the wraps and
The wraps and the
yeah,
boxing gloves are funny.
which supposedly knock people out. I never
They
tried.
knock people out, and they do next to no damage. Like you'll stand over a wastelander, and as he's knocked out, and punch him in the head 50 times to kill him. It's kind of funny. In fact, at
I think you
first,
should do a run where you just run bare the wraps to knock everyone out, and then you just shoot them in the head or cut their head off afterwards with a sword or something. Just like wraps and a bumper sword.
well, something that was funny that happened to me when I was playing around with my New Vegas. When I first started testing the viability of a fists only run in New Vegas, I was like, oh yeah, the boxing gloves. I forgot about those and equipped them. I was like, man, this might just be better than running bare knuckles because it's even more like Mike
Boxing,
Tyson.
yeah.
And it got to the point where you go into Prim and you go into the hotel and there's all the raiders in there. And I got on this one floor and I got attacked by like 5 of them. And all I could do was run around, knock one out, get them all knocked out. And then as soon as I was knocking the last one out, The first one I knocked out was getting up, so I had to turn around and knock him out, and then go to the second one and knock him out. And I was just running in this circle in a room, knocking people out. Eventually, after I think 15 minutes, I had killed them all.
I can't wait to watch this playthrough. I have to say, just the Fallout 3. I think it's going to be hilarious. I've seen one before. I didn't watch the whole thing though, and I think it's going to be it's going to be great. I think it's going to be the
game or
it'll break you out of the Persona, not rut. It's not a rut, but just the.
I mean, the game's been absolutely
the
great.
monotony that you're in.
I've just been playing it for way too long.
Yeah, you're on what, day 37?
Yeah,
like
day
that?
37 is going to get repeated. I'm not counting what happened yesterday as a day.
Day 37 streams.
37.2. And you plot that out, I only stream outside of doing dual things with Keldon. I only stream 3 nights a week at most.
Yeah.
So I've been playing it for 3 months.
Something like that. Yeah. Well, the bit of news I have for my stream tonight is half related to the game I'm currently playing. Last night I was able to get Riku and Auron's celestial weapons. It required about 4.5 hours of some of the most boring, monotonous crap. Running back and forth through a desert to find cactuars and talk to them, and then running back to the original spot. You can't collect all 9 of them at the same time. You have to go collect one, take it back. Collect one, take it back.
Final Fantasy's been great about making a lot of their ultimate stuff like really fun to get.
Yeah, well, through my 4.5 hours last night of doing that, so I basically spent my night off not even having fun. I'm not going to stream that because it's boring as hell. So what I think we're going to do is I'm going to sidebar that for the moment and work on that in my off time for about another week. And we're going to start the next game in the marathon tonight, which is not going to be X2 because we haven't finished X1 yet, but X2 will be the game after the one I'm about to play. The Final Fantasy we are going to be starting tonight, I figured it would break up the monotony if I chose one that's, you know, not as high up on my list. We're going to start 8 tonight. We're going to make me finish that game because it's the only Final Fantasy in the entire series that I've never beaten.
What about Lightning Returns?
That's not in the series.
Oh, you jackass.
That's not in the series.
That is definitely in the series.
No.
You can't claim that
Lightning
title.
Returns is not in the series.
You can't claim that title without playing Lightning Returns. I want to see you play it.
I'm not playing Lightning. No.
I'm not even going to watch. I'm just going to have your audio pulled up.
Not doing
it. Come on.
Not doing it. Nope. Not doing it. When I make partner, I'll do that. How's that? Because that's never going to happen. So yeah, immediately following the stream, we're going to start Final Fantasy VIII and see how that treats us. I looked through. I made it, I think, originally about 12 hours into the game. And I'm sure a lot of that was drawing, so I doubt I really made it all that far. I have downloaded. It is modded. I'm playing a modded game. It's PC, by the way. I have it on the Steam release.
So you get to like not have to deal with that.
No, I'm gonna do the draws.
You're gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try to.
Look at you, but you won't do Lightning Returns. Now I'm really disappointed.
No, because that game is it's not even a Final Fantasy game.
I'm pretty sure it's called Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I'm sure it's called that. So is that stupid mobile one that I don't consider a Final Fantasy game. Hey, I would have streamed 13 too.
Especially you're such a damn Lightning fan too.
There's some things even Lightning can't make good. Yeah, I have it visually modded, Turmoil. I've got all of the ones that I saw that looked really good. So it looks pretty decent for a PS1 game, I have to say, with the mods. So, that will be in about 5 minutes. So, Skibbs.
Have a good night.
Wow. Really? That's how you're going to end it?
Yeah.
No crazy hat, no... I'm disappointed in you.
I thought that was good enough.
All right, buddy. Well, good luck with your... because in case I don't talk to you before tomorrow night, good luck with your finishing and it actually finishing this time.
Yeah, God, just internet, please. Why? This is the second time I've had something catastrophic happen during the ending of a game.
Yep. The other one was Final Fantasy Lightning Returns, if I remember correctly.
No, it was
No,
Final
that was
Fantasy
13-2.
13-2.
That was 13-2. Yep.
Far
You're
better
right.
than Lightning Returns.
All right,
Anyway,
buddy. Well, everyone have a great one, and I'll see you in a couple minutes. And Skippenheims, I will catch you later.
alrighty.
All right, buddy.
Peace.